Hey guys, this is Lee. Spring is finally here. I just got home about 20 minutes ago. It's about 5:30 and there's still enough light to shoot a quick video, but the light's not gonna last forever. So this is gonna be a quick and dirty What's in Bloom March 2022. So let's start with the not so pretty things first. This is how a sick Miltoniopsis looks like that still decides to bloom. You can see the leaves, not the leaves, but the flower, the petals, the sepals, the lip, whatever. Looks like they're dry and the edges are not very sightly. Yeah, this is some kind of a Newton Volts thing, and it doesn't even put out a fragrance. It's just not a healthy state this plant is in. I don't know why it's still blooming. Yeah, there's not much to say about it. I think my Miltoniopsis do need some time to recover. Yes. Yeah, poor thing. And then there's this tiny little cute thing here. It's a, I think it's an OID orchid that I bought from eBay a couple of years ago. It was sold as Fragrant, pink Phalaenopsis type. Actually, these are two plants. Two orchids that I put into one pot. I don't usually do that actually, but since I bought from the same seller and the plants weren't looking all that fine, I potted it up in one pot. Let's look at the flower first. It's a tiny, small flower, and it does have a fragrance. It's just not very strong. Say it's a bit citrusy. Yeah, I used to keep it under a normal LED in a rack there, as you can see, and it was in Leca there also, but it didn't quite like it and the roots died off. It wasn't enough light for keeping those in semi-hydro, and so I repotted both of the plants with whatever roots were left in one pot, and kept it semi-hydro though, but put it on a eastern facing window sill, and the plant recovered. I can't get it out with one hand. Well, as you can see, there are living roots inside. It's kind of hard to see through the plastic. And actually the plants are doing fine. Look at the long green root there. So it does require some good light for keeping Phalaenopsis in a self-watering setup in Leca. As you can see, it's a pot in a pot, and this is the reservoir. Actually, this one really doesn't acquire much attention. I mean, I fill up the reservoir like every couple of months, maybe. Yeah, and it's doing well. It's blooming. What else can you ask for? But I'm gonna give this away to a friend because yeah, lack of growth space. You know what I'm talking about. And yeah, there's a wig. You can't see it. It's in the pot that goes up all the way to the top and spreads the water that comes down from the reservoir. You can see the lower part of the wig. Of course, I'm not gonna lie, you have to clean up the algae every now and then. In my case, it's just like a couple of months. So I just clean it. That's why it looks so nice. But yeah, if you do it, keep this way of growing your orchid in a semi-hydro setup with a glass reservoir container, you will have to fight algae, or you just wipe it away. And then there's this little cutie here. It's also a very, the flowers are also very small. Can you see it? It's just like 2 fingers. This is an OID Phalaenopsis. Again, I purchased it over eBay, I think maybe last year in summer or something like that, don't remember. And it looks a bit like the Liodoro to me, just smaller. And it does have quite a strong, very thick fragrance, so I'm not keeping it close to me all the time because I get a headache from it. The way I'm keeping this one is just bark and sphagnum moss, and I just pour some water over it like once a week. As you can see, there's always too much water, but the water just runs down to the, it used to be a reservoir, but this one doesn't have a wick. It's not a reservoir, it's just runs down so it doesn't get too wet up here. And here you can see what I mean with fighting algae. If you have glass containers sitting on a windowsill, it's just all algae. The plant doesn't mind, and neither do I. Yeah, I'm growing this on a windowsill, eastern facing windowsill, working fine for me. Why is it not focusing? There you go. It looks kind of tropical to me. And then there's Phalaenopsis Liodoro. I think you will come across this orchid in garden centers. Maybe it doesn't have to be a orchid nursery. It's a nice, again, tropical looking Phalaenopsis with a very pleasant, fruity fragrance. It only has 2 flowers on the spike. I don't know why. Actually, the color looks more pinkish. I don't know why the light, the camera makes it look more purple, but actually it's more like a pink. And there are 2 buds that haven't opened up yet, and then there are other spikes from the years before. Unfortunately, I snapped off an older flower spike. Upsala. I don't know why it's not focusing, but I snapped it off while it was still growing, and yeah, so it dried off, but it put out a little spike here, and hopefully this is going to give me some nice smelling flowers too. The way I'm growing this Phalaenopsis Liodoro is in sphagnum moss, bark, and some ceramus, and I'll just pour water, a little bit of water over it every now and then, and that's enough to keep this plant healthy. It's growing on a windowsill too, so easy to grow Phalaenopsis with nice, beautiful flowers and a very pleasant fragrance. Definitely a Phalaenopsis to keep. And then last but not least is a Cattleya Dolosa. I purchased 2 of these plants from Italy about 4 months ago, repotted them right away, and grew it under artificial light. This one's growing under artificial light, and it put out a new growth, and the new growth put out 3 flowers. Beautiful white, simple flowers. again, they do look a bit like the Princess Jackie that Miss Orchid Girl is talking about, but it's not. It definitely not. You can tell the flowers look a bit different. But the fragrance is, they do have a fragrance. If you ever wondered if Cattleya Dolosa has a fragrance, yes, it does have a fragrance. It's quite strong. You can smell it when you're sitting in front of it, but I don't think you can smell it when you're walking like 2 meters away from it. The fragrance is, I can't even put my finger on it. It's something fruity, maybe apple, a little bit of citrusy. I'm a bit disappointed by the fragrance because when I first saw the Dolosa at Lucas and I took a sniff, it smelled creamy and rich and a little bit of vanilla maybe, but this one, at least it was sold to me as a Cattleya Dolosa, doesn't have this strong creamy component to it, so I don't know, but it's one happy plant. The funny thing is, so I reported it 4 months ago, and obviously I took a pot that was too small because look at that, the roots are already growing outside. These are lost, so to say. There are enough roots inside, and the plant is, I think it's putting out a new growth here. I don't know. I will have to report it at some point again. And this one, I'm keeping it in again in bark, Ceramus sphagomus, and it's a kind of a self-watering setup, but I don't put too much water on it. Right now it's quite wet actually. There's a wig, and you can see there are, I don't have my tripod here. There are enough roots inside the pot. Yeah, so pretty healthy, happy Cattleya Dolosa. All right, that was it. Have a great day, people. Bye.